Are you thinking of moving to Portugal? Well, it's beautiful, it's affordable, and it's full of charm, but there might be a few things that you will find surprisingly hard to do here.
Like what?
Stay tuned to find out.
Bum.
We have a visitor. We are also dog sitting right now, so he wants to be on camera. Welcome back to Track Us Down. If you're just finding us, I'm Monique.
And I'm Doug. Our channel is all about retiring early, moving abroad, but mostly living what we call a better second half of life.
And we're sharing our real life experiences with you to help you on your expat journey.
So today's video is a little bit different. We're going to talk about some of the things that could be problematic here living in Portugal or living abroad anywhere. So there's a disclaimer that comes with this. For all you local Portuguese or Madeirans watching this channel, just relax. We love Madeira. We love Portugal. We love the way of life here in Portugal and on Madeira. We really have nothing bad to say. This is just more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of a fun thing, highlighting some of the differences that people coming from North America or UK or elsewhere might find when they move abroad to somewhere like Portugal.
So it's done extremely lighthearted, and we always have a good laugh whenever we encounter any of these things in our real life, and that's why we're sharing them with you today.
So just keep that in mind before you leave a comment telling us to go back to our own country if we don't like it here or something. We love it here. This is just some fun.
The first thing is bedding. And I know that sounds kind of crazy because, usually you get a bed, you know what size your bed is, you buy sheets, and it's kind of over. But it's not like that here. Bedding is really complicated, I would say. They don't name the beds the way we do. They don't have a twin, a queen, a king. They have actual bed sizes done in centimeters. So when you go to buy a flat sheet or a fitted sheet, you need to know the size of your bed. And every store has different sizes of sheets and fitted sheets and duvet covers and all that stuff. So it gets really complicated. It's not as simple as walking in and saying, I have a queen bed, and buying the queen package of all the different kinds of sheets and bedding that you need. So that is one of the things in terms of sizing that I found really complicated. They just do it very differently, and different stores do it differently. So the tip here, if there is a tip, is just to know that that's going to happen. And pick a store and buy all your bedding in the same place and get familiar with it. And get good at using centimeters, because you're going to need to know exactly what you want to buy. You've never even bought bedding here, have you?
Well, I've had the pleasure of looking at bedding with you here. I've never seen her get so worked up as she is when she's looking at bedding.
So you're going to need to know 200 centimeters by 196 or 200 by 54. And different places, they'll want to know how big you want the sheet to hang over, because they have different sizes of sheets that hang over the bed differently. And then for the duvet cover, they have different options. So all of that becomes very complicated. And if you're ordering off Amazon from Spain or from Germany, that's different sizing as well. So the simplicity of a twin, a queen, and a king, that's gone here. It's a whole new ballgame.
And apparently that can be quite frustrating. Another thing that might keep you from moving abroad, somewhere like Portugal or any other country that does this, is the dining time here. We're used to eating dinner around 5 o'clock at night, 5:30, maybe 6. Here, most restaurants don't even open till 6 o'clock. And if they do open at 6 o'clock here on Madeira, it's usually for the tourists, to get the tourists in. On the mainland, we notice in Porto and a lot of other places, the restaurants don't even open till 7 o'clock at night. So you're not sitting down, maybe starting to eat till 7:30, 8 o'clock. By the time you finish eating, or you're just eating dinner, it could be 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And afterwards, to go home and to go to bed after that with a big belly full of food, it's so hard to sleep after. We're just used to eating more around 5:30, 6 o'clock, what we call dinner time, and then maybe going for a walk after. In Portugal especially, they eat so late. We see young kids coming to the restaurant at 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night. They're all excited because it's dinner time, and that's the norm for them. Of course, with that, they have lunch at around 1:30, 2 o'clock. We're used to eating anywhere between 11:30 in the morning, 12:30 over the noon hour for lunchtime. So that is something that we found a little bit challenging in booking reservations or eating. Whenever you go for dinner here, it's always a much later time to eat.
It's actually so surprisingly hard to make a reservation or find a restaurant that's open. It's actually kind of funny because we are hungry at that time, and to wait till 7:30, 8 o'clock is really tough. And we just think that for us in our better second half of life, we like to be health conscious and we like to make sure we're eating early so that we have a long time before we actually go to bed in the evening for digestion. And it's tricky. It's actually kind of funny that that is something that we always think about.
So that's a little bit challenging. It could be a little bit challenging for your move here abroad.
The next thing that is surprisingly hard to do in Portugal, and this one's no surprise to anyone, and you can't leave it off the list, is learning Portuguese. As we've said before, and we'll say it again, Portuguese is really, really tough. I think that we have found the beauty of the language in taking our class. We've been going to Portuguese school twice a week for the whole school year now, and we're in May now, and we are loving the language. We're loving learning it, but man, it's tough. And I'm coming at it knowing French, and Doug knows some French. So there's a lot of things about the way the language is built that we actually understood. However, putting those sounds together and remembering them and using them in real life situations is really tough. So the language learning curve is a tough one and surprisingly hard.
And I said a while back, and I'm glad you didn't hold me to this, I said that we were doing a video in full Portuguese once we finished our language class. Well, we're coming to the end of our language class, 54 classes, September till May, and there's no way that I could do an entire video in Portuguese or even part of the video.
I think you could.
I could do some phrases, but not a lot. So we do need a bit more conversational Portuguese to bring it up to a video purpose. But I have to say, I've absolutely loved learning Portuguese. It is a really interesting language once you get into it, and we really look forward to being able to speak fluently.
Comment down below if you'd like to see us do a video in Portuguese. I think you could do it.
Oh boy. So one other thing that is surprisingly hard to do here in Portugal, especially on Madeira, is get any work done. Whether that's for an electrician, any kind of renovation, installation, even work on your car, it can be so frustrating. Our Portuguese friends even admit that they're not the best at scheduling appointments. There's no way back in North America, if you took the morning off from work and made an appointment with an air conditioner installing company to come and put in your air conditioning, that they just simply wouldn't show up. And then 2 days later, they show up randomly at 3 in the afternoon and expect you to be there. We've been trying to get air conditioning installed in our place, in our new place here, just like we did in our other place, since January. I knew it was going to take a long time, and I started making the arrangements in January. They had to order the machines. Of course, when they came in, one machine didn't come from the mainland, so we had to wait. I kept phoning back, and they said, "Oh, it just arrived today. I was just about to call you." I've heard that before. So then they show up for 2 days. They can't get the job done. Trying to get a hold of them and schedule them to come back and finish the installation. It's so frustrating. They have everything done except the machines installed. We have big holes in our ceiling in multiple rooms. Now we have these machines sitting, and we're starting to use the machines as decor because they're sitting around in our apartment here. They just don't seem to put things in calendars and stick to a schedule. They'll get to you when they get to you, but it can be quite frustrating when you're trying to get some work done as far as showing up on time and showing up when they say they're going to show up.
So I think with that one, it is surprisingly hard to get workers or work done or even pay someone to do something. We did have someone come out and measure curtains for us, give us a quote on wallpaper, give us all these informations about what wallpaper to purchase.
They did a lot of work.
Spent hours with us. Then we could never get a hold of them again, and they never replied to any further texts. So there's a lot of things like that. We try and chalk it all up under, you know what? It's second half of life. We got a lot of Portuguese patients now, and we've worked around it, and we kind of have a laugh at some of these things. And that's why it's making its way onto this list. It's not something that we stress about. And if you're going to live in a different country and things are different, you got to just take a chill pill and find your Portuguese patients within. The last one that is kind of surprisingly hard to do here in Portugal, that sounds kind of One of the things that's surprisingly hard to do here. One of the things that's surprisingly hard to do here in Portugal is print out pictures and put them in picture frames, which sounds like the simplest thing in the world. You say you need a 4x6 or a 5x7 or an 8x10, you put it in the frame, and that's it. But here, I mean, yes, it's all in centimeters and we can convert those sizes, but the sizes that they want to print out don't match the frames. So you're always printing out a picture that's either a little too big or a little too small. And if it's a little too small, they'll want to sell you a matting to go around the picture. It's just such a silly little problem to have. But every time you go to a picture, it seems so easy to just say, can you give me a 5x7 because my frame is for a 5x7. But it's not that simple. And so I don't know if there's a workaround that for time to time, I go get pictures done of our family and I somehow sort it out. But I am trimming pictures, which is something I've never done before. So the sizing thing, again, is one of the funny things that actually is surprisingly hard to do here in Portugal. We have a visitor.
So those are just some of the issues that could be surprisingly frustrating when you move abroad to somewhere like Portugal, when you're not used to those type of things, those measurements, those lack of appointment keepings, to those dining times, all these sorts of things. But just remember, again, for you Portuguese watching this, and you shouldn't be watching this channel,
You can't say that.
it's all meant in good fun. We love you. We love living here. We love our new adopted culture, and we wouldn't have it any other way. It's just a laugh.
And if you're Portuguese, and a couple of you have done this already, you've left comments down below of things you actually found like this when you went to the States or when you went to Canada, you noticed things. One of the funniest ones was that someone noticed in Canada and the States how much water is in the toilets, and it freaked them out. Because here in Portugal, there's very little water in the toilets. The toilets are just shaped differently. But they found that really weird that they opened the toilet and there was so much water.
I never thought of that.
That's true. I read that in the comments. So there's reverse ways that this whole thing can be done as well that's surprisingly weird or surprisingly hard.
Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us here. We really appreciate your time and your comments down below. If you like a good conversation about retiring early, living abroad, or just living a better second half of life, please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and hit that notification so you don't miss any upcoming videos.
Thanks for spending your time with us today. And as always, check back in and
Track us down.
bye.